everybody, how you all doing today? All right, so let's take a look and see. Oh, Restream's freaking out. So I don't have the live chat up on screen today. I don't know why. It's I don't know, YouTube is going a little bit crazy. I think I can see the LinkedIn chat, but I've got it open on like an extra screen, so I just won't highlight questions today. I'll just read them out instead. So first few announcements. The first one is if I look a little rough and I sound a little rough, I was pretty ill last night. I was up being sick all night, so I did manage to get some sleep this morning into the afternoon. So I'm recovering, but I suspect I had a little bit of food poisoning or something like this. So apologies if I'm a little I don't know, peachy. Let's say peachy, but otherwise all good. And let's see, announcements. So we did have our Memorial Day sale. So just a heads up. But usually we also have a summer sale. So I'm not sure exactly when it's going to start, or actually, I do know when it's going to start. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tell you. But just to tease, we've got a little bit of a summer sale coming up. So keep an eye out for that. And we also have live Active Directory training Friday from Heath. So Heath's doing his, I think it's the 1-day live Active Directory training. So I think there's like 4 spots left until it's full, maybe 5. I can't remember exactly, but there's like a few spots left. So if you're interested, go check it out. Live AD training with Heath is always a lot of fun. Comes with hosted labs, and yeah, everything is set up for you. You get to go in, do all of the attacks, ask Heath lots of questions, and obviously he shares a lot of stuff about his time pen testing and whatnot, and sharing all of like the secret sauce of things that he's learned over the years. So that's kind of like the nice thing about live training. And we also have a few bundles still available over on the website as well. So if you're interested in those, you can take a look. But otherwise, let's see, how are we doing today? I can see some questions for any tips for the PNPT exam. Actually, I did do a whole video on this, but it's been maybe more than a year now since I cleared the PNPT. What would I say? So there's a couple of main things with the PNPT exam. So first is everything's in the course, so you don't need to go crazy like studying other stuff. Make sure you know your Active Directory attacks and things like this. And I think when you're in that, it's supposed to simulate a real pen test. So that means like, how do I say this without giving away like spoilers and things? When you're doing like a CTF or something like that, usually you can kind of find the way. You'll be like, oh, this is out of date, and you know there's a internet facing CVE, and it's like that never really happens on external pen tests. Like you're never really going to go to an organization and be like, CVE 2018 pops a shell on that infrastructure that like somebody would have done it a long time ago. So it's more like you need to get inside and then start using what you have available to you to make progress. So that means looting machines as well, understanding what users exist, what privileges exist, what systems exist, why they exist, and what capabilities they have, and thinking of it like almost like what I say when you're taking on web apps, in a way that you need to understand the network in order to be able to exploit it. So I think that's the biggest thing. It's not just a run X tool and then Y exploit. It's really understanding like the environment that you're in and making the most of that. So all good. All right, let me keep scrolling down. See what other questions we've got. So just a heads up, I'm just looking at the YouTube chat at the moment. So if you're on Twitch, I would open up the Twitch chat, but because my internet isn't the fastest, if I'm streaming out and then also streaming back in on multiple channels, it's gonna really impact the my internet performance. So if you have questions, drop them into the YouTube chat. I think that's the best thing for today. So sorry if you're a Twitch subscriber, or if you're on LinkedIn, or if you're on Facebook Live or any of the other platforms. I appreciate all of you, but I can't look at all the chats all at once currently. So I'm just going to look at the YouTube chat because I think that's our most popular platform currently. Move to Kick. Why Twitch? I mean, yeah, I think there's only like 20 people on Kick, right? So at least last time I checked, that was the thing. So all goods. Let me check some other questions from AJ. What's up, AJ? Suggest some beginner tips for getting into ethical hacking, like how to start and where to start from. So for me, the two biggest things is one, follow a course. You can just follow like a free course on YouTube. Like we have a 15-hour ethical hacking course on YouTube. There's a couple of good reasons why I suggest this is because one, it kind of sets you up and covers like lots of different key areas so that you don't keep getting stuck. And then obviously you can build on that foundation. And secondly, if you get 3 hours in and you're like, and then you never touch it ever again, maybe pen testing isn't for you. Because like, I don't know, like pen testing isn't for everyone. And I think that obviously if you enjoy it, definitely go for it. But I think a lot of people coming into the field maybe have a thoughts on what pen testing is, and it doesn't quite meet that expectation, and that's okay. It's it's not for everyone. But yeah, follow a course and then set up your own environments. So set up your own Active Directory lab, set up your own Kali machine or whatever it is that you're going to be using. Install tools and get to know Linux a little bit better. That's the best way to start, I think. And yeah, that's what I'd suggest. There's so many resources these days that it's kind of, as what I'd say is just find one and stick to it rather than jumping around. I think that's the best thing to do for sure. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, interesting question. From Circuit, if you already purchased some vouchers at some other time, do you know if we get a discount on the bundles? I'm not sure. Maybe just reach out to support@tcmsec.com and then they'll be able to confirm. Like, just tell them what vouchers you've got, and then they'll tell you exactly what you can do. And the support team, like, they'll be back to you in like less than 10 minutes. So that's the best place to look into. I don't know too much about that side of how the back end works in terms of like the subscriptions and vouchers and things like that. Because obviously I just have access, so I never have to go in and buy stuff. So yeah, all good. Excuse me. One from Squid. To get an entry-level cybersecurity job, should I focus on certifications or contribute to the community and prove my skills through bug bounty? So ideally, I would say get yourself at least one certification, because a lot of the times when HR are hiring, that's like a checkbox and you'll just get rejected if you don't have a certification. So you kind of need to do that checkbox. But otherwise, I would say then if you want to like pass the interview stage, having like projects that you've worked on and things that you've contributed to the community is going to help you in the interview stage. So the idea is both, but yeah, don't go nuts on the excuse me, don't go crazy on the certifications. Get 1, 2 maximum, and then work on other stuff until you get your first role, and then you can come back to certifications later on, I think. Let me keep scrolling down. Oh, interesting question from Ricky45. Okay, so what should I master first before picking a specific field like web, wireless, or reverse engineering? I would say that you don't necessarily need to master anything. I think you need to have the fundamentals down of like different technologies. So being able to deploy a web server, being able to understand how networking works, being able to maybe go through and set up an Active Directory domain, build a small web app. and do all of these things so that you kind of understand how everything works together. But you don't need to go too deep, like, because if you learn the fundamentals of lots of different topics, when you come to something new, you'll have a good idea of where it fits in already, and then you can go deeper and as and when. So I think it's like understanding lots of technologies and hands-on practice and having some good troubleshooting skills. Those are things that are going to like pay dividends for your entire career. Don't go nuts with like, oh, I have to like master networking and be like a networking guru. Honestly, my networking skills suck, and I still was a pen tester for quite a long time, and then I was doing loads of AppSec, and now I'm like teaching, and my networking skills are still like, I still have to Google stuff. Like I can't remember the difference between like the CIDR ranges and things like this, but when I do come to it, I can figure it out. It's just I'm not a master of it. I'm kind of like I just know the fundamentals, and that's it. Let's keep going down. Oh, Razak, my country doesn't have jobs for ethical hacking. Yeah, that's a shame. You could move to another country. I mean, I lived in Tokyo for like 4 years and worked in Tokyo, so that was good. That was a lot of fun. Now I'm back in the UK, so there are opportunities abroad as well, especially with big tech companies. So if you look at certain big tech companies, they'll like, I don't know, Microsoft, for example, they have offices all over the world, and you can get jobs in different countries that way. Let me keep scrolling down. Oh, track 2. I'm taking the PJPT exam next month. Any advice? Don't overthink it. Set a timer. So if you haven't made significant progress in like 45 minutes, take a very quick break, grab a cup of tea, just get up from your desk and then come back, and then move on, and then like cycle through things in like 45-minute blocks. Otherwise, I think what happens is you'll be looking at something and then you'll kind of fall into a rabbit hole and you won't realize, and then you'll waste like 3-4 hours of time. And it's not necessarily the time that is an issue, because you actually have plenty of time to clear the exam, but it's like all of your brain power and and things like this that is a finite resource. So like I said, for the PNPT, it's not going to be some crazy attack that you've never seen. Everything you need to pass the course is in the everything you need to pass the exam is in the course. Set yourself a timer, and then you're all good. All right. How are we doing for time? Let me answer a couple more questions, and then we'll jump into doing a box. And I think I need to get my network configured because I don't have the VPN file for HackTheBox currently. Oh, from Hendrik, do I need to know network pen test before web app? So this is an interesting one. Traditionally, network pen testers would also do web app pen testing. In my opinion, it's its own field. So I think they're completely separate. That doesn't mean that people can't do both. Yeah, they can. But generally speaking, no. If you're only interested in web app pen testing, go do web app pen testing, and that's it. And then stick with it. And this is kind of like a newer thing where people are realizing that, once you get past the basics of just doing like audits, basically, they are very different fields. But if you're just doing things like, running your burp scanner and running Nessus, for example, yeah, you easily do both, obviously. All right, let's switch over to this box, and then I'll answer some questions as we go. Okay, so I can see the Twitch chat and the LinkedIn chat on here, but YouTube chat isn't coming up. Sorry, YouTube. I'm going to keep it open though, so I can see all of the shenanigans that are actually happening. There we go. I've got you over here, and then I've got you guys in here. Everything is fine. I think I need to reset up my what's it called? My chat app or whatever it is. Okay, so connect to HackTheBox, machines, download the OVPN file, download, and then let me just pull this into here. Oh, I've got one there already. Let's just rename this old. And all right, so we're going to do an old box because I wasn't feeling 100% today. So we're going to do a box that I have actually done before, but it's been like easily 3 or 4 years or something like this since I've done it. So I wonder if it tells me actually on here when I solved it. How do I find that out? Does it give me the dates? Don't know. Activity? No, that's just like all users. Don't know, but I solved this box years ago. So let's see. It's still spawning. So let me come back to the chat. How do I get back to here? Manash says, yeah, I feel so left out. Everyone watching the stream are either job holders or professionals. I don't think that's true. I think there's a lot of people who are not working in cybersecurity currently who are watching the stream. Oh my god, Restream is like giving me this like live help pop up, and it's like, get out! I'm trying to stream. Why would I want your support chat popping up on my screen while I'm actually trying to stream? That's super annoying. But if you're an undergrad first year, you're in like the perfect spot because you've got loads of time to figure out what you want to do. Yeah, I wish I'd realized that I wanted to get into AppSec when I was an undergrad. I was kind of I did a lot of like web development and stuff already when I was younger and when I was a teenager, so that's kind of lucky. But yeah, who knows what could have been the case if I'd started a few years earlier, a few years before, and really focused in rather than kind of like hopping around and discovering cybersecurity. Maybe it's a good thing. I don't know, but we'll see. Okay. So let's scan this box. And so we're just going to use nmap to scan this, obviously. So nmap, let's just do -a, output normal, and just call this scan.initial. And while this is running, I'll answer a few more questions and see how we're doing. So, oh, Ryan Murphy. Yeah, I'm 14, just switching careers and going back to school next semester. That's awesome. I was actually on a training course a couple of years ago with a chap, and he was in his 40s as well. And I, at the time, was in my early 30s, and he'd switched from, I can't remember what he was doing. He was like a plumber or something, and was like, yeah, I just started doing cybersecurity, and now he works in security, which is very cool. I think he's living in Spain at the moment. Haven't spoken to him in a couple of years. I should reach out to him on LinkedIn at some point, but all good. What's up, Joy? After my bachelor's in cybersecurity, I became a trainer for 1.5 years. Bills had to be paid, of course. That's the deal with jobs, isn't it? Now I miss the real fun, vulnerability assessment, penetration testing. How would you restart and rebuild your skills if I was you? Yeah, tricky one. I mean, you obviously already have some skills, especially if you, when you teach stuff, you generally go a lot deeper than just when you're learning, I think. So this is quite a good thing. If you're feeling rusty, obviously like networks labs, so things like Wreath or Hollow or networked machines that are provided by like HackTheBox or TryHackMe are a really good place to start. And I think working through those is a good place to begin, especially if you already kind of have a methodology down. So I think that's the best thing to do. I think doing single boxes only takes you so far. I know I do them all a lot on stream, and it's always like a one and done box on live stream. But I think if you're really serious about becoming a good penetration tester, working on networked machines is the way to go. And going deep into Active Directory for sure is also the way to go, I think. Or just be cool and join AppSec, the AppSec crew, which is, the best place to be, obviously. So all good. Let me keep scrolling down. Why is this scan taking so long? Maybe it's because I'm streaming at the same time. Okay. 91% done. It won't take too much longer, hopefully. Let's see what other questions we've got. I can see a couple coming in. Oh, let me switch over to here. Oh, tips to be experts in CTFs. I think read a lot of write-ups because if you want to be good at CTFs, obviously do a lot of them. But every time a CTF finishes, go and read the write-ups of not just stuff you solved. Skim through the stuff that you solved because somebody might have solved it in a different way. But read the write-ups for stuff that you didn't solve. Because with a lot of CTFs, there's a lot of repeating themes. And so I think this is something that it's kind of boring to do. It's not the most fun thing in the world. But if you go to CTF time, usually there's like a write-up section or you can follow up. And that's the best way to get really good at CTFs really fast and doing them in conjunction as well, of course. And then just taking like basic notes is useful as well, because then you'll kind of remember, like, I saw this at some point. I think I do that a lot on CTFs. I see something and I'm like, I've seen this before. And then I might do some Googling and then I might find a write-up that's kind of similar. And then I need to change that slightly and then apply it to the current situation. This is something that happens a lot when I'm doing CTFs. Oh, here's a good question. So I've been in IT for 14 years, but still find it incredibly hard to switch over to consulting and helping with cybersecurity. Any suggestions? So I would say you don't necessarily have to be a consultant. You might take on a role, for example, as part of an internal security team, and that might give you a little bit more support. And then you can also go deeper into the tech stack that organization has. So if you're having some kind of issue being a consultant, or if there's some barrier to entry there, then there's plenty of jobs for internal security teams where you're not necessarily a consultant. So I think that's the best way to go. Otherwise, managed service providers, I think, is a good place to learn lots of things and get lots of certifications. But maybe if you've worked in IT a lot already, you probably don't need to go in that direction, I think. So yeah, that's what I would suggest. Try and find a nice internal team rather than a consulting organization in that case. 98%. Gosh, this is... how many ports are open? We'll see. Oh, Olvi asks, why don't we prefer SynScan instead of the default TCP scan? I could have answered you a few years ago, but nowadays, because I don't do that much like scanning and network pen testing, and I just work on web apps, I basically have a bunch of scans that I do and that I've always done, and then I just send them. And so that's maybe ask Prince or Bellini when they're streaming. They'll be able to give you a little bit more deeper information, I think, on that. But for me, I'm just like, yeah, a few years ago I would have been able to answer you, but I can't remember off the top of my head. There are a bunch of services. This is quite old, 4.3. Probably won't look at that first, but 25 SMTP. HTTP is open. Looks like there's some issue with the redirect. 110, POP3, 111, 143, 443, 993. Don't know what that is. 995, POP3. That's probably it's IMAPD. Okay, so this is all like mail stuff. MySQL. Ooh, MySQL unauthorized. Not sure what 4445 is. And then miniserv. So some of you who have been in security for quite a long time and done like security exams and things will have some maybe stressful memories of miniserv. I can't remember the exact version, but I can't tell you more than that because I don't want to get banned for leaking stuff. But miniserv brings back some memories for sure. All right, so let's start off with port 80 because I'm a web app person and I like web apps, and so let's also sudo micro etc hosts, and let's come into here and 10.10.10.7 and beep dot hack the box. Oops, save quit. Okay. HTTP kernel / is it beep.hackthebox? That's it, isn't it? Secure connection failed. An error occurred. Unsupported version. Okay. This is kind of annoying but easy to deal with if you've ever seen this before, because usually you get like a accept the risk and continue, and I've been forwarded to HTTPS, so we're now running on 443. But our browser, this is using a protocol that our browser doesn't like. So you can fix this. If you go into Chrome, you can go into like about flags or something. And if you're in Firefox, whoops, you can go into about config, accept the risks. And there is something in here where we can enable old, hello kitten, old TLS versions, basically. What are you doing? Hey? She wants attention, but she's going to have to wait. If you know which one it is off the top of your head, that would be helpful. Otherwise, I'm going to have to try a few. Disable grease on fallback. What does that even mean? I'll probably know it when I see it. Yeah, this one. Okay. So here, security TLS version enabled deprecated. So if we switch that on and then refresh, so now we can obviously go like, yeah, we still get the security warning, but we can come in and we can accept the risk. Oh, and we get elastics. Cool. Okay. So this is a fun one. Just in case you ever get that error message, you probably only ever see it on CTFs. You probably, actually, if you're on an internal pen test and you see like a really old web server that's like some old HR system or something, you might get something similar like that as well. So all good. All right. So let me. Oh, you can also type, this is unsafe. Is that a thing? Okay, fair enough. I vaguely remember that. I don't think I've ever done it. So is that a Chrome thing or a Firefox thing? I can't remember. All right, so I'm just going to try admin roots. Let's do, whoops, elastics default credentials like this. Whoops, there we go. What is this? Palo Santo. Or was it admin Palo Santo? Nope. I'm just going to try 2 or 3 and then. Admin, we've tried. Yeah, we're on free PBX. So we tried this one. Let's just try this one just in case. No. Okay. Let's see. Have a quick look at the source. No. So let's scan this quickly, I think. So word list. Well, where are my word lists? Home, Alex, word lists. Let's go with common web directories. Let's go with that. Let's go with this first and see if that comes up with anything. And while we're doing that, let's take a quick look at miniserve. So port 10,000. Miniserve is also a web app. So, use HTTPS instead. Okay, let's just click that. Advanced, accept the risk. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we've got to get in here. I know there's tons of exploits for miniserve, so this will be interesting. I wonder what the path is going to be. I can't really remember off the top of my head. Let's check robots.txt. And then also we can scan for other apps and things that are running on here as well. Modules, config. Let's try. I think I vaguely remember this. Yeah. Do we have creds for this? What were the creds we just... Elastic defaults creds. No. Okay, so we might have to start fuzzing to be able to get fuzzing or like brute forcing to get into these. Oh, can we actually get in? There's not broken access control here, is there? What is this? Recordings index. That's the user portal. Maybe we can get some usernames, but we can see the version, which is quite nice. So 2.8.1.4, so that's also useful. And then there's a help file if we need to go into there as well. So what I think, what are we going to do? We're going to try... Miniserve default credentials. I wonder if they're set on oh my god. Yeah, that's not useful. Okay. Maybe let's search free PBX exploits. Let's actually, RC, but that's version 16. Let's search for free PBX in here. And then let's also search for, it's also called elastics. So let's search for that as well. Because PBX is like a branch of elastics. I can't remember off the top of my head. Okay, so we're running 2.8. So we've got 2.5, less than 2.5 code injection. So that's a potential. Blind SQLi, potential. XSS we don't care about. XSS we don't care about. LFI. What's that? 2.2. that's a potential 2.10. Oops. Hello, cats. Is slightly higher than our current version, but maybe it's a potential. And then XSS we don't care about. Let me have a quick look at this. I don't really recognize this exploit. What did Elastics come back with? Is it the same ones? Oh, similar. Let's just grab the POC. I suspect this is an authenticated one. That didn't do anything. Okay. Yeah, we didn't get a delay, so that didn't work. Let's try LFI. That did something. This looks like this could just be documentation though. If you press Control U or view source, it formats things nicely. Ah, no, this looks actually like we have some information. So here, password for AMPD user. This one's commented out, but this looks like, excuse me, that looks like a password there. Let's just pull open this and just copy and paste this. Localhost MySQL asterisk user. I'm just going to put some of these usernames and passwords in here. I'm going to drop that one in as well, just in case. Are these the same? Yes, they are. And then we've also got admin and AMP111. This is commented out, but maybe it's useful. This one is repeated quite a lot, so I think this is going to be useful somewhere. Gotta love these old exploits on these old web apps. They're crazy. And look at this. So this is what? beep.htb, VTI, CRM, whatever that is, graph.php. And then in the current language, we've got file inclusion. And then we've got a null byte here. So we're including the amportal.config file. And then there's a null byte, and then there's a module equals accounts and action and some other stuff after that. So that's, yeah, like a old but gold, very cool PHP vulnerability. Okay, so let's try some of these either in here and also in here as well, because password reuse is a thing. So let's try admin. Let's try this top one. Haha, we're in. Nice. Administrators, extensions. I wonder if it also works for this as well. Nope. Okay. All right, how do we get a shell from here? That's the question. All right, let's take a quick break and I'm going to answer some more questions. And, oh, question from Mr. Ananzi. FFUF is better than Derb and GoBuster. I think FFUF and GoBuster are comparable. I think they're both better than derb generally, but also derb can be useful. So for example, if you're pivoting through a network and you've got like proxy chain set up, concurrency is going to really mess up your chain and your results are going to be wild. So derb in that situation is actually really good because it's like single threaded. So when you're scanning through proxy chains, it can be a good tool. So I think every tool has its place. Wow, Restream is like sending me so much junk on here. Let me see what they want. I'm just gonna be like, bro, go away. I'm streaming. And that's it. Like, wow. What is this Restream? Imagine if you're like a pilot and you're flying the plane and then you've just got this annoying pop-up, like just constantly of some like salesperson who's just like, you know, this is going on and that's going on. It's like, yo, just let me fly the plane. Let's get to where we're going first, and then we're all good. All right. Maybe I'll post a random screenshot on LinkedIn or something of the random support messages that I'm getting later on. All right, so let me keep scrolling down, see whether we have. Oh, Jonathan Miranda, real hackers code every tool from the ground up. Are you sure? I did. Oh no, he's put /s, so it's all good. I actually did. I did think that it'd be a fun video series to do Hack the Box without any tools except like Bash, obviously, and have to solve Hack the Box machines by either building your own tools and also writing all of your own exploits. So you can obviously an exploit like exists, but then you'd have to rewrite it and set it all up and then catch your shell and everything else. So that might be a fun learning experience. I'm not sure it's a very efficient use of time, but it could be fun. So I think building your own tools for certain situations is definitely worthwhile. So that's it. All right. So what I actually want to do is just before we come back to here. Oh yeah, here I am. Friend of mine who's watching the stream. I've just seen my WhatsApp pop up and he just says, bro, try roots. What does that mean? I wonder if he means on here. This could be what he means. Oh, too many authentication failures. I wonder if it's going to come back after 5 minutes. Let's see. All right. Let's see whether we can get a shell from free PBX in the meantime. I suspect this is the way, the miniserve, because once you get into miniserve, you can just write commands and schedule cron jobs and stuff. But maybe what we need to do is investigate this a little bit more. So let's see. I've actually no idea what free PBX does. It's like a voice system, right? Voicemail system dashboard. I wonder if we can just get free PBX authenticated RCE. Let's see. What version are we on? 2.8. Let's search this again. So 2.11, this might work. Okay. This is the POC. Okay. So what's this doing? Set time limits. Something with the cookie. Trigger user is admin and password is admin. Submit. Okay, we can try. We need the... Do we need the cookie though? Is this authenticated RC? What is going on here? Yeah, bash syntax, that's not surprising, given how long this is. It looks like it's escaped properly. Huh. Maybe we'll come back to this, but we're going to keep that open because that might actually be the way. 13, that seems quite high for what we need. 2.10 maybe. Let's see if this is back. Okay, we're back here. Okay. My friend texted me saying I should try roots on here. Ooh, that's not copy and paste. Come on. Nope. There we go. Okay. Yeah, this would have taken me a while, I think. I think I probably would have tried this and maybe, not sure if this is a rabbit hole or something that actually works. But when you're doing CTFs, you have to think like, why is Webmin here, right? What's the intended path? And it makes sense. Finding roots, maybe root is always the default Webmin username. So maybe that's something that we had to figure out. But even though like I've done this box before, like years ago, I think that would have taken me a couple of hours to figure out. Probably. Yeah, something like this. But it's all good. You know, that's how it goes. So yeah, nice. I'm glad we didn't just get stuck there for like ages and ages. Let me come back to the chat briefly and see what other questions we have. Oh, from I'm Just You. Give me 3 the best things to do to become a bug bounty hunter. So I don't do a lot of bug bounty. I'm like a bug bounty dabbler. So definitely if you catch like NahamSec or Jason Haddock's streaming, then this is worth like throwing to them because they're like legit bug bounty people. Whereas like I just do bug bounty for a bit of fun here and there. But the 3 things I would do is I would focus on like 3 or 4 vulnerabilities, like cross-site scripting, broken authentication, broken access control. And then I would try and search for them everywhere. And I would also focus on recon as well. And I did Jason Haddock's course, the Bug Bounty Hunters Methodology. I can't remember the exact title, but he goes really deep into recon. And for me, because I've worked more on the AppSec side and more on like internal teams and looking at code and stuff, my recon skills weren't that great. And I learned a ton of stuff from there. And you can see his like talks on YouTube from like DEF CON and stuff like that. So I would say make sure your recon is on point. Focus on a few vulnerabilities, at least to begin with. Maybe don't test everything. And then what would be my 3rd tip? Oh yeah, set yourself like a schedule. So instead of like being like, oh, today I'm bug hunting, and you do like 10 hours of bug bounty and then you don't touch it again for like 3 months, try and make it sustainable for you. So just be like, if you're working full time, for example, or studying or part time or whatever, maybe you can fit 2 hours a day in and be like, okay, between 7 and 9 every day, that's my bug bounty hunting time. And just be consistent, and don't try and base your success, especially initially, on finding bugs. Base it on 1, understanding the target application, and 2, hitting what you've said you're going to do. So if it's 2 hours a day, hitting those 2 hours every day for a month, for example. and set yourself kind of like realistic goals, because consistency is the way you get good, right? Finding bugs doesn't make you any good at bug bounty. It doesn't make you any better at bug bounty. You're going to find bugs if you're consistent. And if you get lucky and find one early, or if you don't get unlucky and don't find one early, that doesn't actually have any real reflection on like your long-term skill and your long-term development. Being consistent is what has the biggest impact on your long-term development. So I think that's the biggest thing that I would say. And all of the things that I'm reasonably good at, I got good at because I set myself a attainable schedule, not a crazy schedule, but it's something attainable, and I was consistent with it. Question from Eric. I watch many videos, but I cannot choose one platform to start learning. I don't want to spend money for something not hands-on. So, I mean, the 15-hour YouTube video that we have, 15 hours of ethical hacking, go with that. It's free and it takes you through everything you need to kind of get started. If you're looking for more like content in different areas, like a lot of stuff on Try Hack Me is free, and just I would say it's actually less important these days to pick the best thing, but pick the thing that you're going to be consistent with. That's the trick. All right, one more question before we carry on. So, Ambitions 13. Do I recommend focusing on one team, blue/red, or is it better to learn both equally? I think if you're early on, don't go nuts. Just stick to what you want to learn, and go deep into that. I think later on, maybe having some fundamentals like like even as a pen tester or red teamer, AppSec person, understanding a bit of like how blue team tools work, like firewalls and EDR and things like that, is going to be beneficial, but you don't need to go crazy with it. Later on, when you're in a more senior role, or if you're looking to kind of like take your game to the next level in terms of like, oh, I want to be a senior pen tester, or I want to be a senior at this, then I think that's probably the time where you need to expand more into other areas. Or if you're on an internal pen test team, again, you might need to understand like your organization's defenses so that you can give better remediation and reporting and feedback. So early on, don't worry about it, but a little bit later on, I would say, yeah, it's useful to branch out at least a little bit. And you'll find that you pick up stuff really quickly because you have a good understanding of technology in general at that point anyway. So it's all good. All right, Webmin, my favorite. It's not my favorite anything, but like I have Webmin memories. It's nostalgic. There you go. Webmin is nostalgic. So what can we do in here? Hello, kitten. What are you doing, huh? You nudging my mic? I think somebody's hungry. I'll feed you in a bit. Ooh, there's like different themes. Wow, that's the ugliest theme I've ever seen. I regret changing the theme. How do I change it back now? Uh-oh. Here we are. Webmin. Theme. Global theme. There we go. It still hasn't changed. There we go. Okay. Don't mess with themes, people. Webmin themes suck. So I think we can come into system. Yeah, so we can boot up, shut down. I know we're logged in as root. I can't remember whether Webmin uses like mirrors of the users on the system. So we're actually logged in as root. If we are logged in as root into Webmin, as in the Linux user roots, then yeah, we've rooted this machine and we can do whatever we want. But there might be a Webmin user within this web application called roots that we might be called. So it's we need to think about this. Let's scheduled commands. let's try this. So it's 1959 on the server. So let's do 20. And then let's find a bash command to execute. So bash reverse shell. Payloads all the things. Reverse shell. Let's grab this top one. Whoop. Oh no, I just closed it. There we go. Control Shift T. And it didn't copy. I don't know why my Control C and Control V isn't working very well recently on my keyboard. I need a new keyboard. If any of you have recommendations, right? So I have this Keychron, but honestly, my experience with Keychron is that they're nice for about a year, but then they break. And this is a problem that I have with Keychrons. So if anybody has any recommendations, and I gave away my Arrakis keyboard, which I got from Japan, which I'm kind of annoyed about because I want it back now, and I can't remember who I gave it to. I think a family member. And yeah, maybe I'll just build one since what am I doing? Whoa, can't even type today. There we go. And I think it's probably already gone. So let's go 02 just in case. Create. And hopefully this will give us a reverse shell. Let's see. We'll see. We'll see. And oh, good question. Why Firefox? I kind of switch between Firefox and Chrome quite a lot. I think the Chrome dev tools, if you're doing like web app pen testing, the dev tools in Chrome are better than Firefox. But generally speaking, for like just CTFs and stuff like that, I use Firefox quite a lot because it's a little bit lighter. But I kind of like bounce between the two. I think I do use Chrome more often than I use Firefox these days. One really good thing I really love about Firefox is the Firefox multi-account containers. As far as I know, there isn't a good alternative to this in Chrome. And so when you have this, I've already got it installed. You can create like, so here I have this blue tab. This is a completely separate session to like this tab here. And so when you're pen testing and you're doing like access control issues, you can easily switch between like user accounts and admin accounts without having to go back in, re-log in, set your MFA code, mess around with the application, log out again, re-log in as the other user. These two are just like completely separate sessions, which is really, really nice. And you can have a few of them like this. And so this is one of the main reasons I use Firefox. And I have Firefox, what's the VPN called that comes with Firefox? Is it Mozilla VPN? I have Mozilla VPN, and you can attach them to the containers as well, which is really useful. So yeah, it's called Firefox multi-account containers, like this. This is the plugin. Super helpful. And then we're all good. And looks like we got a shell. So that's it. Did the box. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like I say, I think that it would have taken me a long time to get that Webmin username. I think that's not that high up on my list. I try not to use Hydra and stuff too often. And actually, Webmin it locked us out as well. So without some smart guessing, that would have taken potentially a long time to get this. So thanks to my friend who texted me, because they probably knew I wasn't going to get it for at least an hour or so. So all good. All right, so let me take a couple more questions, and then we'll finish up for tonight. And I've got a little bit of work left to do, and then I'm going to get an early night since I was sick all last night from like, I don't know. I think I woke up at 2 a.m. and I was ill until about midday, and then I got a couple of hours sleep, and then and now I'm live streaming, so all is good. Where can we get the retired HackTheBox machines IP? If you just go into HackTheBox and go to machines and just click on retired, it tells you them all there. And then, yeah, it's just through the UI. Then you should be all good. It's quite dark in this room at the moment. Not sure why that is. But all good. So let me answer a couple more questions. And let's go with this one first. So after months of training with platforms like the HackTheBox, I now want to jump to the real world. What is legal or not illegal to check in real sites? Yeah, this is I think this kind of changes country to country, and also depending on what you're doing, you have to be a little bit careful. So, for example, if you're attempting to do like SQL injection on a web application and you don't have permission, most of the time that's against the law. Simple. So your easiest way around this is find a bug bounty program, and that has safe harbor so that you can do it. The other side is that maybe you have an application and you're just reading the front end JavaScript, and there happens to be like a hard coded secret there, or an API key, and you're like, that's funny, and you're just reading it. I think the difference is that when you're actually doing SQL injection, you can cause a potential impact. Whereas when you're doing passive things, for example, then the impact is absolutely minimal. So that's kind of where I would draw the line. But like I say, this isn't legal advice. And depending on your country and things like this, things are different. And also depending on the application that you're looking at and the company, there are lots and lots of things to think about. So what I would say is, yeah, this is why bug bounty exists. So just find a sign up to like Integrity or something, find a target that interests you and do it legally. That's what I suggest. Let me answer this one. So how can I demonstrate my skills because we don't have enough money to pay for recognized certifications for? Yeah, this is a tricky one. Certs are expensive, for sure. So there are a few different things you can do. So for example, building open source tools or contributing to open source projects is a big one. Getting involved in things like the OWASP projects is also a big one. Joining, some kind of online community and working on a project. I think it's all basically like, do you have a side project? Do you have things that you're contributing to? And I think in some cases, not all the time, but I think in some cases that can get you past where you don't need certifications, for example. But if you think about it, like when we're trying to get hired, obviously, like in an ideal world, we have all of these things. We have like certs and experience and side projects and skills, and we're interesting to talk to, and we have good soft skills. When one of them doesn't quite, when one of them's lower, we have to try and bring up the others to replace that or make ourselves stand out more. I think my camera's like freaking out with the zoom. There we go. So yeah, that's what I do, is look at other areas and see where you can contribute there. All right, one more question. Let's see. Let me switch over to the YouTube chat and see how you guys doing over there. I don't see any questions just skimming through, so let me scroll down here a little bit. Okay, let me answer this then. So this is a really good one. So you studied a lot, you feel like you know a lot, but a little bit weak when it comes to applying those skills. Yeah, 100%. I think this is this goes back to setting some time and being like, okay, every day I'm going to do an hour of Hack the Box or whatever it might be. And it takes a long time because really what you're building is more troubleshooting skills and like hands-on keyboard skills rather than like the theory. So, we can have a good process and we can understand the tools, but actually troubleshooting them and figuring them out is kind of a bit of a different ball game, because every time we fire off a tool, it gives us a different response, or it gives us different error messages and things like this. So I think it's just consistent practice is the only way to get over this. There's no secrets. You just gotta put the time in, unfortunately. All right, and that's it for today. So hopefully you all enjoyed the live stream. Sorry, it's a little bit shorter than usual. I didn't have the best of evenings last night, so still recovering a bit, but hopefully I'll be able to eat something soon. So that should be all good. But always appreciate you all hanging out, and I will catch you all